Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time out on your valuable Sunday afternoon and talking business. The Let's Talk Business time on Sunday is designed for those of you with that entrepreneurial mindset who are always thinking about things. Now, I'm going to tell you, like, this is like the most well-researched discussion that I wanted to have. Like, you ever have like where you just like overdosed with information and then you're like, oh my goodness, I want to talk about too many things. But let me talk about, most importantly, the point that I wanted, the reason that I wanted to bring up all of this talk about Bitcoin, this cryptocurrency, everything that's going around, what is going on. I just want to say that from an entrepreneur perspective, isn't it fabulous what they're doing? It's like amazing. I mean, think about something that you knew nothing about a couple of years ago. Now it's like everybody's talking about it. I mean, I never thought that they'd be discussing it on CN and CNBC. You know, I mean, it has really taken off. And let's think about the entrepreneur that started this. Like, this guy or girl or group, nobody even knows who started it. Just the mere fact that we have a business that people are buying these Bitcoins in the groups, and you've got multi-millionaires that are putting money into this concept. Think about it. We don't even know who started it. Like in 2009, let me make sure, I think it's like 2009, 2008, this name came about. Like, it's just all of a sudden he brought out, like, here it is. Like, he has a white paper that's out there that it is available on the internet. And this is what started it all. Like, these 8-9 pages. And the 9th page is just references of what, so, okay. Now, I have heard so many people talking to us about why we should get these Bitcoins. Now, I am I'm an investment advisor. I own a registered investment advisory firm. I'm an investment advisor for my firm. So everything I say is regulated. So you are not going to hear me ever tell you that you should buy any Bitcoin. So I was like when I put the flyer, when I was saying, hey, let's talk about this today. And then one person was talking about, oh, I have it. And I was just saying, look, do not get confused. This is not a solicitation in any way trying to encourage you to buy anything in Bitcoin, because it is totally up to you. So if you came to me and if you hired me as your investment advisor and you said, Jamie, what should I do, right? So my challenge would be to find out what is appropriate for you. Now, we might come to the conclusion that you understand everything that's on this white paper, but too often we're sold on the point that you may be able to. Now, I found someone who's highly influential in the Black community, and he was doing a YouTube. Now, first of all, he's not registered to actually put anybody in any investment. That's, he's not regulated. So he says, oh, you can get some Bitcoin for as little as $5. That's why you should sign up for my program. Find out how people are making all of these millions of dollars, and you can start with as little as $5. And then we get excited because it says as little as $5. Honestly, even if something is $5 and if it's no good for you, then that's still $5 that's lost. Can I get an amen? We need to be careful for every dollar that we spend. It's amazing how many people go around chasing things just because of the price that they are. Like, I remember when their investment clubs used to be really, really popular. And then they would call me in to go do a meeting, and they'd all be talking about so-and-so. I think it's going to have a stock split, And then it's like, okay, But they have this misconception that a stock split means that the company is, has a additional value, or that it really means something. So what I'm saying is that's just because something's cheap does not mean it's worthy of your time. And just because everybody is doing something doesn't mean that it's appropriate for you individually as an investor. They say that when you follow the herd, you are sure to step in some bad stuff, right? So be very careful to not fall victim of herd investing. Instead, I encourage you to look at this from an entrepreneurial perspective. Bitcoin is you buying something based on these 9 pages, and this Satoshi Nakamoto. That's his name, or her, or this group, or whatever. Nobody knows who that person is. They put there to shop is SATO Shin, SATOSHIN @gmx.com cannot be located anymore. About a year after they came out, he was still talking, maybe 2 years. Now he's not talking anymore, or her. I mean, we're just like, it just makes you want to say him. But I found it interesting as an entrepreneur that name was selected. He could have he could have done Abdul Shabar, he could have done Bob Jones, but he chose Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, we don't really have any proof that, what origin that this person came from, because the point of all of this Bitcoin is to learn how to do things with complete privacy. That's the point. The thesis statement. A purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash will allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Digital signatures provide part of the solution, but the main benefits are lost if a trusted third party is still required to prevent double spending. So what he's saying is that so you don't buy the same coin at the same time. In his white paper, he explains how the system has to work, how it has to work, how it has to be structured, how these electronic signatures have to be connected with every parcel that you are selling or buying. And if you ever even consider getting involved in it, I want you to fully understand this white paper. Fully understand, not the fact that, oh, you can get in and you can get some, but you got to understand how I get in, how I get out, who's getting money, who's all these businesses that have been created in order to help you make transactions on this. So that's enough about them. Most importantly, you got to, but look at this from your perspective, from our perspective as business owners. Look at this process of just having something in your mind and learning how to create out of something that didn't exist before. He said after all of that financial crisis, he said there needs to be a system where people don't have to rely on a central banking system in order to take care of transactions. So they're doing commerce on the internet has come to rely almost exclusively on financial institutions serving as a trusted third party to process electronic payments. And he's saying, we don't want to do that anymore. So they're figuring out a way. But my point that I've discovered is it's becoming harder and harder to do these transactions without disclosing your information. So the goal of having privacy becomes less and less capable, because the way that the systems now are designed is hard. Everything that you do on the internet can be tracked. And the government became a major holder of Bitcoins through drug trafficking that had been using Bitcoin in order to pay for things. And the government came in and took over their Bitcoins. I mean, and it was like over $100 million. It was a lot of money that the government was auctioning off the Bitcoins. So that they acquired through taking over that drug trafficking triangle, all of that type of stuff. So I have noticed that people like myself who are very highly regulated, who have been in investments their entire life, who have been in the United States through a highly regulated financial system their entire life, who have watched people who have been harmed by financial systems only be able to recoup a fraction of their money because of the system that we have in place to protect consumers. So when you look at it that from that point of view, I know that most likely Bitcoin, if it ever gets regulated, it will not be regulated out of the United States, because the United States financial system is based on full disclosure. Absolutely full. They want to know everything about everybody and everything about money that was made, as much as technically and humanly possible. So that, that to me shows that we need to make sure that you are always involved in every business that you're in, every investment that you make. Understand the regulation of the business. Understand what can take that business out, what can take your investment under, what can put a halt to this great idea that you are considering, and what are the risks involved, and what is the likelihood, and what is the future of it. And that only comes from having a complete understanding. But what I challenge you to think about is, would you invest in yourself? Would you, if you put yourself, your business plan, your ideas, your concept, your algorithm down on paper, would you invest in it? The first transaction, they said, the first transaction on record that was done with Bitcoin was the purchase of a pizza. That's what he said. Is there anybody who would take that first step and actually say whatever your idea is, that they would believe in it and they would get involved in it? Because the only reason that it's working is because this was organized, it was done, it was proven foolproof that business could be done that way. For how long is the question? How many businesses will get on board? Because of course, the majority of businesses don't accept this currency, but there are businesses that do. There are people that do accept it. So if you were buying something from a different person and they accepted, you could pay them in your Bitcoins or in fractions thereof. And you don't, so and in understanding the fractions of them and how many fractions, and because yes, the Bitcoin, may be trading for a lot of money, but you can buy a portion of that particular coin, believe it or not. So there's just so much stuff that you need to talk to your advisor about. You need to talk to me about your specific risk tolerance, your specific financial needs. No, because really, is a person that has $5, as I saw on the internet where they were saying, all you need is $5, and they're still going around with school loans, but yet they're thinking, let me do this, really? They might be saying, well, if I do this and I don't pay my school loans, but I do this, or if I don't do the 401k at work, but I do this, they're thinking, or maybe they'll come out ahead, But would you really invest in you? Would you take that chance on yourself? And that's what you're doing when you start your own business. You're saying that I don't know exactly what's ahead, but I understand my plan. I understand my plan. Because if you're doing that, you're investing in anything, you're investing in anything other than yourself, that means really you believe more in that than you do in yourself as a business owner. Because if you're saying, well, I've got to do that, it's true. And there's something to be said about diversification, because the overwhelming bulk of the wealth of a business owner is in their business. So we do have to encourage them to be, diversified, so they're not completely relying on their business for their income that they might want to generate at the point of retirement or and things like that. But you think about, some people say, well, I don't want to put all my money into my business because what if I need to liquidate, or what if I need to sell? Well, what type of, what investment? So you're willing to do something else? There's people that are out there and they're not exactly sure what they're going to be able to sell that cryptocurrency for, but they might still say, well, I'm going to put that in there, even though they don't know what it's going to be worth. We don't really know what Apple's going to be worth in 10 years. We don't really know. So I'm challenging you. I dare you to make sure you write a white paper on your own company. You write down why people should invest in your company, why you sell yourself first on you. Because I bet this guy, Satoshi Nakamoto, was totally sold on this idea. I don't even know how many years. He might have had this 100 years. And then he was waiting until that Great Recession, where all those banks were going crazy and having these investments that were found to be fraudulent. And then the United States government helped them out, and people were heartbroken, and people lost jobs, and people lost their homes, and lost everything. And he came out with this. And he said, ain't that some craziness? What we should do is create something where it's our own. But is it really your own? Is it really? Is it really? So read the white paper on your business. Read the white paper on anything that you're thinking about. Look at the numbers. That's why we have this regulated system. That's why the investments that I introduce, my portfolios that I show clients to, I have to show them information on historical performance that has been cleared through the Securities Exchange Commission. We're in a regulated environment. So we have to, when you're talking about doing something that's not regulated, that's not under control, what's the difference? Why is that more worthy of your money than your business itself? So as an entrepreneur, I tell you, from a perspective of Bitcoin craze, think about yourself. How did it become so exciting? How did it become so exciting? They fulfilled a need and a desire and a concern that obviously an overwhelming group of people were having, because it worked. There must be a lot of people who want to figure out another monetary system because people are participating. Then they got people of influence to buy into it. So who are you partnering with as an entrepreneur that can believe in it and that can help you build and grow your business and help people invest or purchase from or utilize your business? Partnering with the right people that are not afraid to say, I believe in this company. I believe in that, right? Well, so those are, what can we learn from how it happened? That you've got to be thoroughly organized, that you have to have a system in place on how you're going to go from one level to another. And then he thought about, what's the worst case scenario? Somebody comes in and hacks my system. So what did he say? We'll decentralize. We'll have the information at multiple. We'll have people that own, we'll have the information on what number, digit, or identifying source of what you own on several different places throughout the internet. So if a hacker hacks one place, he can't get to all of your information. He can't bring you down. We then decentralize. So think about the worst case scenario. What can happen? What can happen to your business? And how can you protect yourself, your investors, your customers from that happening? What about the regulation of your business? What can happen from a regulatory perspective to your business that can put you out, like I'm saying about with them. You know, if they just said, like China has basically closed them out, said no more new cryptocurrency companies or something like that. You know, the regulation for them in China, you know, has been totally changed. How does that affect it? How does that impact the future of it? What can, you know, what's going to happen? You know, could we say something like that? Could the U.S. government say, what is their growth markets? You know, is there smaller countries, you know, that don't have an organized monetary system? Is there potential there? Where is your potential for your business? I believe that we can learn from everything. We don't have to participate in everything in order to learn from everything, right? But you can certainly learn from, why are people so excited about that? And how do I get people excited about my business? I think it's really amazing. Just the thought of how we can have an idea and take that idea, and that idea, because of how well you organize your idea, how well you developed your product, how well thought out your product is, and it can take off like that, you know, that it can take off. Now, mind you, we just don't know how long it took to put together these 9 pages that have, you know, taken it years out. But I tell you, before you come out, you make sure you got your stuff straight. You make sure that you have your stuff straight. Make sure that you realize that sometimes we're not where we think we should be because we haven't prepared, we haven't organized our things right. We're not ready for it. So get ready, and that's going to require a huge commitment to making sure we have everything in a row. What's your worst case scenario? What's your best case scenario? What can I do to take full advantage of the needs that exist in today's market as a Black business owner? What can you do? You can change the world. We're all in a position to change the world. It's about us believing that we can. Thank you so much for just sharing this time. I hope that something about what I said empowered you, encouraged you. I really appreciate your time. Email me at jd@jdbryan.com or jd@afroeconomics.com. Don't forget the Black Business Summit coming November 12th, Sunday from 10 to 4. And we're going to do everything. Talk about how to present your business to potential investors. Alternative financing is real. It's possible. All we have to do is get our pages straight. Have a positive day.